Should I put solar panels on my house? The sun generates free electricity. If only you could harness it. Enter solar panels, the savior of the world. Sort of. And while I completely believe in clean energy for the sake of the earth, you should know what you're getting into before you jump on the solar panel bandwagon. Hi there, my name is Mindy Jensen, and I am the host of the Bigger Pockets Money podcast. To get all the information you need to feel successful with your personal finances, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I feel like an absolutely horrible person coming here to make a video about the pros and cons of putting solar panels on your house. The pros are you generate clean energy. The sun spits photons at us. If we capture them or not, it's still spitting photons at us. So we could make energy that is clean. We're not burning fossil fuels. We're not doing any of the things that cause carbon emissions and whatever. It's wonderful. But note, I said clean, not free. That's the myth behind solar. People think that since the sun just spits these photons out, harnessing them is free. And it actually costs a lot of money to harness those photons. More on that in a minute. The cons are buyers don't like solar panels, especially if there's a lease involved. They will want you to pay that lease off at closing. And I know we're listening to this right now in literally the hottest real estate market that has ever been seen on the entire face of the planet. So maybe right now in very early 2022, when you are selling your house with solar panels on it, you can get your buyer to assume the lease. Great. That's not a real market. That's what's going on right now. But when this market finally calms down, that is not going to be the case. Coming from a buyer's standpoint, it really doesn't make sense to have to pay off the lease. You, the seller, were the one who chose to put solar panels on the house. That was your choice. Maybe it's not their choice. Maybe they don't want to be saddled with an additional cost. So they're going to want you to pay that off at closing. They didn't get to choose the provider. They didn't get to choose the size. They didn't get to choose a lot of things. So for them to not want to assume your lease is kind of understandable. Solar power is amazing. I feel like such a horrible person for saying that solar panels are terrible. Solar is amazing, but it's expensive to install solar panels. Right now, if you're thinking about installing them on your home, you need to be aware of the costs. So much money. Seriously, solar panels are so expensive. My husband just DIY'd solar panels, which you can't do, but he DIY'd solar panels, something that took a lot of help from some electrician friends. Thank you, Todd and Johnny, as well as a ton of research. Like, oh God, so much research. All he did was talk about this for like a month and a half. But before jumping into the DIY realm, we got quotes. They started at $26,000. That included the tax credit, which is a smarmy way of quoting you a price. It was actually more than that. And then they're like, oh, but with the tax credit, it's only going to be $26,000. Yeah, but I got to pay you more upfront anyway. And that was for a much smaller system than what we ended up putting on our house. So that's a payback period of forever and a day. Our DIY method still ended up costing us $13,000 out of pocket, and which will come down to about $9,000 after the tax credits. And we live in Colorado, where we get 330 days of sun every year. If you're in a state with less sun, it's an even longer break-even period. And my city pays me retail rates for all of the excess electricity that I give them back. Not every city does that. Some cities charge you retail rates and then pay you wholesale rates for the electricity that you sell back to them. Even with that reduced price of install, even with the extreme price that they are paying me for my electricity, even with the massive amount of sun that my city gets and that my solar panels get, I'm still looking at a 9-year break-even period for my solar panels. I have never in my life lived in a house for more than 6 years. And we're hoping to live in this house for 8 years, but that's still not 9 years. And on average, people move every 5 to 7 years. So my DIY project is going to have 9 years of repay period or break even period. And that's just the break-even period. After that, I start to make money. I am an absolutely horrible person for even suggesting that you don't try to get clean energy from the sun. It's an excellent thing to do for the environment, but from a money standpoint, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If you have a house and you're considering putting solar panels on, do a lot of research first. Is it normal in your area for buyers to assume the lease? Is it normal in your area for sellers to have to pay that off at closing? You could be looking at an additional $20,000, $30,000 that you're paying off at closing because your buyers are unwilling to assume your loan and the market has changed. If you want to take advantage of the free energy the sun spits at the earth all the time, look into solar farms. These large-scale solar panels are similar to a community garden. You buy into the farm and generate solar power that way, rather than putting panels on your home. It's less expensive to get into than putting them on your house because they're buying in bulk and they're installing them on the ground. There's no dangerous dangling off the side of the roof business. If you're considering putting solar panels on your house because you want to be environmentally friendly, go nuts. It's a great idea. My husband is obsessed. You can call him up and talk for hours about how much electricity your solar panels are generating. I would love for him to have somebody else to talk to besides me about this. But know what you're getting into before you get into it. Get a lot of quotes. Understand how much it's going to cost you to put solar panels on your house. In some areas of the country, it's actually detrimental to your home's value to put solar panels on because there is such a perceived detraction by other buyers, especially places where they don't get so much sun. We have sun almost every day of the year. It is insane how much sun we get here. Not having that much sun, not having the retail rates, not being able to DIY it yourself, you're looking at a payback period, a break-even period of forever. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to click like and subscribe to this channel so you're the first to know when we have new videos out. Make sure to let us know what you thought in the comments so we can keep making content that's relevant to you. This is Mindy Jensen signing off. Kind of bad because I really don't want to say don't buy solar panels. Buy solar farms.